Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. We're starting here with PlayStation announcing a few days ago now that you can officially wishlist Wolverine. They posted on their official Twitter account. Marvel's Wolverine launches fall 2026 and is available to wishlist today. So this was actually posted on the 16th. So I'm sure most of you are aware of this by now, but just in case you missed it, I know a lot of you guys are very excited for Wolverine. You can officially wishlist. Just wanted to take a moment to let you know about that. But we're going to move on to the next topic, which is something pretty interesting where Demon's Souls gets a surprise update, but the significance of this update should not be overlooked. So this is coming from PlayStation Lifestyle, and it says one of the best PS5 launch exclusives has surprise dropped a new update to add support for the console's latest feature. Players will recall that Sony added a power saving function in a recent firmware update. Bluepoint Games' Demon's Souls Remake now supports the feature. Sony did not release patch notes for Demon's Souls update, but players were quick to notice what's new. Over on Reset Era, a player posted screenshots of the in-game menu screen as well as the game itself. In the power saver mode, Demon's Souls runs at 30 frames per second at a lower resolution. Those who want to test the power saver function have to enable it via the PS5 system menu using the following steps. You go to Settings, under System, under Power Saving, and then click Use Power Saver. It has been rumored that this feature is preparing PS5 games for an upcoming PlayStation handheld that will be part of the PlayStation 6 generation. Reliable insiders have said that the handheld will run both PS5 and PS4 games natively. So yeah, that's what makes this update so significant. It's definitely strange for a game like Demon's Souls to be getting an update like this, pretty much 5 years after launch. And it's specifically taking advantage of this low power mode. And yeah, it's dropping the game to 30 frames per second. I think the resolution is somewhere around 1080p. And so you have to ask yourself realistically, who is going to willingly choose to play this game at like 1080p, 30 frames per second if you're playing on the PlayStation 5 or the PS5 Pro? To me, it seems kind of obvious at this point that this is the test bed for the spec requirement for the handheld. And so what you're seeing in this power saving mode for Demon's Souls, if you choose to try it out, it could give you a very good idea of what you can expect with the upcoming handheld and how it will run PS5 games. So I will keep you guys updated with this. We're going to move on to the next topic though, which is an update on the Horizon Zero Dawn movie. This is being reported by WCCF Tech. They say thanks to Sony and PlayStation's lawsuit against Tencent over Horizon knockoff Light of Motorum, we have an update for the previously confirmed Horizon Zero Dawn movie that's in the works. First reported by the Game Post, the movie is set to start filming sometime in 2026 and is intended to be out in theaters the following year in 2027. The confirmation came as part of the sworn declaration from Asad Kizilbash, head of PlayStation Productions, the branch Sony opened specifically for its film and TV collaborations and adaptations. According to Kizilbash, there's already a script in place, and PlayStation Productions is currently looking for a director. So, yeah, for those who maybe forgot, this was originally intended to be a Netflix series, but plans were not going well, I guess you could say. Things were not moving along well, and so Sony decided to actually let's make it a full-blown movie. And so, yeah, apparently they're going to be filming next year, and it's going to be out by 2027. Let me know if you're interested in a Horizon Zero Dawn movie. Moving on to the next topic, we have an update, maybe a disappointing one, for the rumored Dualsense V3 being reported by Insider Gaming. They say despite previous rumors that the Dualsense V3 will have a removable battery, it has been debunked by tech reviewer and content creator Austin Evans. In the latest video, the content creator looked at the latest PlayStation 5 Pro SKU, which was rumored to be bundled with the new DualSense V3 controller dubbed V3. However, the latest revision of the controller certainly does not include a removable battery, although it is a different battery from those used in previous controllers. So yeah, this is something that I wanted to update you guys on because we were hearing that apparently this DualSense V3 was going to feature a removable battery, and quite a few people were excited at that notion, but it just seems like wherever those rumors stemmed from, I actually forget the original source. It seems like their information was incorrect. And this DualSense V3, it is real in the sense that it's like the third version of it, but it's not really changing much, right? It's still going to be a regular DualSense, and if you purchase one today, you wouldn't notice hardly any difference at all. The idea of being able to remove the battery from a DualSense and replace it with another one, again, that's something that a lot of people kind of got excited at, or at least the notion of being able to do that. So I wonder if maybe that's something Sony could end up doing for like the DualSense 2 that ships with the PlayStation 6. I'm not sure. But just an update, if you were looking forward to this, apparently it's not happening. But moving on to the next topic, we're talking about Astro Bot merch. We have the senior director of licensed merchandise talking about it. Being reported by Push Square, they say she's been speaking with brands Untapped about her role and PlayStation's approach to licensing, and she believes the company is only just beginning to scratch the surface of what's possible with Astro Bot. Quote, Astro Bot has so much potential. It's already a critically acclaimed title, winning Game of the Year in 2024, and we're only just beginning to explore its reach across toys, collectibles, and lifestyle products, end quote. They continue that Sony's approach is not just about licensing logos and slapping them wherever they'll fit, it's more collaborative than that. Quote, we look for meaningful links that reflect the heart of each franchise. That's why you've seen us partner with creative leaders across fashion, lifestyle, snacks, and even live entertainment. These collaborations aren't just brands, they're expressions of fandom, thoughtfully designed to connect with people in new ways. She concluded, we ask ourselves, does this idea bring the story to life in a way that honors the original experience? Can we surprise and delight both core fans and new audiences? We're always looking for that creative edge, that right moment, the right partner, and the right way to expand the PlayStation universe in a way that feels true to who we are. So I thought this was worth mentioning because we recently just covered the fact that the PlayStation Gear store is shutting down at the end of this year, and that's like Sony's official PlayStation merch store. But it seems like instead they're not going to be stopping merch, they're just going to be kind of doing it in a different way here and looking for more licensing and partnership kind of collaborations, and it seems like they kind of want Astro Bot to be at the center of this. So if you're somebody who cares about this type of stuff, I guess look forward to a lot of Astro Bot merch, and we'll see what else Sony wants to do with their IP in this regard in the future. Moving on from that, though, we are talking about Silent Hill 2 Remake. This is coming from Push Square. They say the modern remake of Silent Hill 2 has been a major hit for Konami, now responsible for a considerable portion of the franchise's total sales. In a video from Konami itself, thanks to Gamatsu, it's confirmed that the worldwide sales and shipments for the remake have now surpassed 2.5 million. The same video also confirms that the Silent Hill franchise as a whole has now reached the 10 million milestone, meaning last year's remake represents roughly a quarter of the series' overall sales. And so, yeah, this is great news for specifically Silent Hill 2 Remake. That's actually kind of incredible, the fact that it's responsible for such a large chunk of the series' total sales. It seems like it was a big success for Konami, and I'm sure Sony is happy with the success of it as well because it was a console exclusive on PS5. And, it just goes to show how some franchises like Silent Hill, they're so beloved, and, the name is so recognizable. People talk about it all the time. You see memes about it, but it just now reached the 10 million milestone. So this is why sometimes when we cover like Sony's franchises and you see how many units that some of their franchises have sold collectively, some games alone like Horizon sell like 10 million, going well beyond 10 million, getting close to 15, 20 million. And I think people kind of downplay that, like they don't quite understand like just how significant that is, because you get major franchises like Silent Hill, which have been around for decades, just now hitting the 10 million milestone, and that's considered a success for a company like Konami. So, it's good to see Silent Hill doing well and, continuing to be relevant today. And actually, I think doing better than ever today. And again, I love Silent Hill 2 Remake, so I'm really glad to see that it was a big success for them. But we're going to move on to the final topic here, which is a former Call of Duty director saying that they are very worried about Call of Duty's future under Xbox. A former Call of Duty director has laid out his concerns about the state of the series in a recent interview. Glenn Schofield is a name you may or may not be familiar with, but he's one of the minds behind Dead Space and the more recent Callisto Protocol. More pertinent to the story, though, is that he worked on Call of Duty as a director at Sledgehammer Games. From 2009 to 2018, Schofield served as co-director of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and Call of Duty World War II. In a recent interview with VGC, he answered a question about the franchise's future now that it's under Xbox, and he's uncertain how things will go. "I worry about it immensely, I really do," he says, because what's happening to Gears of War? Where's Halo? You know what I mean? And you look at EA, you look at these big companies, and I'm like, where's the Strike games? Where's this game? And there are so many that just fall by the wayside. His main concern seems to be that Xbox leadership won't be compatible with existing staff, incentives, and other cultural factors. Quote, "Unfortunately, once you're assimilated by one of these companies, I think you take on some of their traits. The other thing is, I don't know, but I would imagine that the Call of Duty bonus system is out, and now you have theirs, and people are going to go, that isn't that." On top of that, he's worried that the loss of key creative leads will have an impact, citing his own departures as well as the likes of Michael Condrey, who is Sledgehammer Games' co-founder, and David Vonderhaar, a longtime Call of Duty designer. I'll give you one selfish example. I hate doing this, but since I left Sledgehammer, none of the games have been very good. I mean, the last one from Sledgehammer, Modern Warfare 3 2023, was a 50. They still sell well. You know what happens? You move. I always wonder, why did you take that guy out? It's not going to work later, and very few times does that work. So I figured I would just kind of give you guys a little bit of insight here from Glenn Schofield. You know, he's an industry veteran. He's been around for a while. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him. But it's just interesting to kind of get his opinion on the future of Call of Duty. I think the most interesting thing he mentions here is how he brings up Gears of War and Halo, and he seems to be kind of like pointing to a concern that I've had, which is, you know, Microsoft has proven that they don't know how to save franchises. You know, they couldn't save Halo. I mean, who knows? Maybe Halo will make a comeback. Gears of War has struggled, and every franchise that, you know, they've had, they just struggle to shepherd correctly. And, you know, it's totally reasonable to think that if things start to go haywire with Call of Duty, like, is Microsoft going to be the one to know how to right the ship and fix that? I don't know. Probably not, but there you go. Just figured I would let you guys know what he had to say there. But that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.